There are a lot of tech stacks out there, so how do you know which one is best for you? Well, I just actually built out this directory of my favorite tech stacks that are out there, and I'm going to kind of walk you through them. I'm just going to explain what this is. You can go on this website, I'll leave it in the description, and just check out what the stacks are. And I'll tell you a little bit about them in this video, and then I'll tell you how I recommend you actually go about choosing them. So, some of these are kind of just like popular, like LAMP is basically the OG tech stack. I give it 3.5 stars because, I mean, no one's gonna fucking use this shit today, you know? And then Next ST, this is what I've been building. Actually, I'll call it Next. That's what I've been building with recently. That one's fire. Mern, Mevin, Mean, this is kind of the classic, you know, you're going to use Mongo and then Angular, React, or Vue on the front end. And then Go HTMX is fucking sick. I'll talk about that in a second. Fuck it is Firebase or Fireship. Fireship. My bad. I had to think about that. Fireship. Oh, it says it right here, dude. I'm so dumb. It's Fireship's tech stack, which is what he built his website on. This is actually using Firebase and SvelteKit. And then NextGo, this is Mark Liu. He's like an indie hacker, and he uses MongoDB along with Next.js, and then some other APIs. I don't show the APIs on here. But what I'll talk about in this video is just how to go about kind of choosing your tech stack. Because I remember before I chose this tech stack, I was really trying to figure out, like, there's kind of your database, there's your edge functions, there's like your backend code. Like, how do you decide what to use? And I'll tell you what my main factors are. Okay, the first thing is popularity is killer, because now with like popularity used to be really good because you would have a lot of forum support and you could get help that way. But now it's almost a bigger gap because all of a sudden AI, if there's a ton of content on the same framework, then all of a sudden AI is going to be extremely helpful. Whereas if there's like no content on the same framework, then it's not going to be as helpful, or it may even be detrimental. Like one thing is actually with Next.js 15, which I'm using for this project, for this directory, AI is not too good with Next.js 15 because it just came out. And so it's actually kind of a problem. Whereas if you think about something like Svelte, I think they probably have the same problem. But for like Next.js 14 or PHP or Ruby on Rails, you're going to have so much documentation out there that you're going to get really good AI support. So that's one thing to think about. But I'll tell you about my favorite thing. So first of all, NextST uses Trigger.dev, Supabase, and Next.js. These are all kind of newer and like growing popularity tools, and I really like them. I think that like Supabase is just a really nice database that has a dark mode, a light mode. It's like a super friendly user face, just like Vercel. And so Supabase, I don't think I could go without Supabase, right? Trigger.dev solves the problem of having like a backend system, and you just want to think about like what are you comparing these things to. So with Trigger.dev, this is like background jobs. I have some videos about this. And so you could use Next.js API routes instead of Trigger.dev, except that API routes have a timeout of like 60 or 120 seconds max. And so you're going to run into timeout issues, especially with like bigger functions. And then Trigger.dev solves a lot of these problems for you. So Trigger.dev is worth it to bring in into these kind of serverless environments, where most of your stack is serverless, but Trigger.dev, I believe, is persistent or something like that. And so then you have, so I basically chose that because they're new technologies and I like them, right? And it's kind of important that you like the technology that you're choosing because it'll make it a little bit more fun and exciting to learn. So my next project I'm going to do is going to be in SvelteKit just because that's something new and interesting for me to try. One thing I do want to try in the future is Go HTMX. I gave this a 4.9 out of 5-star rating, the highest on this list, because Go HTMX is basically, HTMX is like kind of, they have like a meme account on X where they talk about like, they just post like shit posting memes, and it's basically like sending HTML straight from the server. And so Go has like really high kind of performance. It's compiled, and so it's like a really nice system to use. And then you couple that with HTMX, and you have a really nice, like, kind of flexible platform. And so, yeah, Go has been gaining like a lot of popularity for that reason. So Go with HTMX is kind of a god tier stack, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's down to whatever you find interesting and kind of like the idea of the most. You don't have to be super logical, because the fact of the matter is any of these things will get the job done. And some people might say, "Oh, you can build faster if you used the ship fast tech stack." And that might be true, if you compared someone who's super experienced with like this stack versus someone who's super experienced with LAMP. But at the end of the day, it's really just down to the experience. So if you just get going on one project and just use that project for the whole, or that tech stack for a bunch of projects, you're going to get really good and you'll be able to build fast. So it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's just kind of about how much you enjoy it, and also how maintainable it is, because going back and maintaining your code is something that you might not think about at the beginning, but you do have to reconcile with that. So it is good to choose something that you're going to use for a couple projects. I recommend Next.js or Svelte on the front end, and then Trigger.dev for serverless functions. It's kind of serverless, in the back end, like long running functions if you need those. And then I would say I like Supabase. I haven't tried MongoDB, but that's not SQL. It's like a document database, and so I haven't really practiced with that. I use SQL, and it might be less kind of user friendly, but it's still pretty nice to use. It's compared to like a JSON document database like Mongo, and so it's fine. Supabase is great. And yeah, those are my recommendations. Just use whatever you like, whatever sounds cool. Um, and then I have some articles on here if you want to check it out. But let me know what you think. You can sign up for the newsletter or get help. And if you have a business, I can help you actually give you a recommendation for your tech stack for your business. Anyways, I will see you in the next video.